President Obama came out the winner last night, but it was the most divisive national campaign in memory. That's one of the headlines from rollcall.com. So what can the president do to unite the country? With me now with some analysis is Roll Call's Jonathan Strong. Jonathan, thank you for being here with us. I know you haven't had that much sleep. You were at one of the parties last night, and you said overall the Democrats were happy, but there's a caveat to that. They weren't completely happy. Why not?
They did very well in the Senate. Unbelievably well in the Senate. President Obama won re-election pretty handily when some people thought it would be close. But in the House, they did not pick up very many seats. Somewhere between 6 and 8 seats. They needed 25 to take back control of the chamber. And they're looking at a difficult contest in 2014 with an incumbent president on, usually the president doesn't do that well in a midterm election in his second term. So there was a little bit of an undercurrent of displeasure about that.
Why no coattails in the House if the Senate was doing so much better?
It's, one of the big things that happened was the redistricting process, which happens every 10 years. And Republicans, because they had a big wave in 2010, were able to make a lot of ground in drawing the districts that made it hard for Democrats to win back in the House.
Just the opposite in District 6 here in Maryland, where Roscoe Bartlett was unseated after 2 decades in the House. Let's talk a little bit more about the election of President Obama. What was the winning strategy that got him not only the popular vote, although slim margin, and the electoral vote? What did Mitt Romney do wrong?
Well, Republicans are still picking up the pieces this morning and trying to figure out exactly where. But the two main things that I'm hearing from them is, one, that they vastly underestimated President Obama's ground game. He had a very sophisticated system of appealing to micro segments of the population. And the other thing is, Republicans are going to have a bit of almost a civil war over their party's future. You have the conservative wing of the party and the moderates, and they both think that it's the other's fault for why they didn't win. Mitt Romney is a moderate from the Northeast, but he campaigned, according to some people, as a conservative. So which of those ideological temperaments caused him to not do as well as they might have thought?
Can anything get done? Can we expect someone to reach across the aisle and absolutely make a difference?
I want to say yes, but I think the answer is more likely to be no. If you look back at the second terms for President Clinton and President Bush, they ended up pretty divisive. And so I think that we're going to have, especially with the Republicans controlling the House, a pretty bitter replay of the previous 2 years in this next Congress.
Who's the standard bearer for the GOP? The president wants to meet with Mitt Romney and talk things over, but does he lead the party after this, or 2 times a loser, forget about you?
I was surprised to hear President Obama say that. I don't think that Mitt Romney now has any particular sway with Republicans. It's probably going to be Speaker John Boehner who's the person that leads. But why Obama said that, I don't know. It's an interesting strategy on his part.
All right, Jonathan, thank you for your analysis. Jonathan Strong with rollcall.com.